Yeah, what's good, peeps? It's Chris. I'm back with a different type of video today. I kind of wanted to switch it up and do something different. I'm just gonna go through my old sketchbook and show you guys a few of my old drawings that I've done. Most of them from 2015, 2016, and just kind of give you guys a run through of, just some of my old sketches, my old drawings. This is actually my second time doing this because the first time I did it and it was kind of long and drawn out, and I just wanted to do it again and do it better. So the first drawing is of Cradles from God of War, and this is all just regular #2 pencil, and I really liked the design, so I sketched him out and I added a red color pencil for the stripe running through his body, and kind of just a feature to accentuate, and got rubble flying up and he's in this attack pose, and pretty cool. The next one is Stephen Curry, and this was done in 2015 as well, and he's just kind of looking up. He does his little chest pound, look up to the sky when he hits a 3, flashing lights in the background, and yeah, the jersey done in colored pencil, and this is regular Crayola color pencil. It's kind of why it turns out a little gradient, but this, I really kicked it up a notch. This is of Leonidas, and again, this is just regular pencil. I just went in heavy, really dark, and did his hair, and I actually used Q-tips to get the skin and get the variations in light and dark, and his mouth. My favorite part is right here, because it's just the subtle changes in light and dark that really make it look like that light is bouncing off the metal on his arm, and then you got the straps right here, and it's so pretty, it's so cool. And his sword, I didn't end up doing the whole thing. I just kind of left it like that because I just liked the effect that it had of it just being almost like a lightsaber kind of look. But this is when I started to get into more realistic drawings, and yeah. So I was also doing portraits. This is of Mayweather, but it kind of doesn't look like Mayweather, but I was just trying to be more realistic and do realistic portraits. I did this 6/29 2015, and I kind of wasn't happy with how this turned out, but it was all practice, and practice makes perfect. I don't know, it's just going for growth, so trying stuff outside of my comfort zone. Again, a different celebrity. This time it's Anne Hathaway. But just trying to get the proportions right and do her hair, and I actually struggled to just get the proportions right. I mean, I still struggle now to get the proportions done correctly, but again, this was just more practice and me trying out something different. The man, Russell Crowe. I think this is a Robin Hood. This was Robin Hood, 7/10/2015. And this one looks a bit more flat because you can see the variations in the light and dark is really not that it's kind of flat because there's just medium. It's like a light, and then it's a medium, and it's a darker medium. If I had went a lot darker, say in the eyes and the hairs, it would have really popped out a lot more. But overall, it looked well. I feel like I got a lot of the proportions down correct, and I just kind of like the composition of the photo that I was drawing. And moving on, this is of Loki, and I was really just kind of focused on the face and doing portraits. And really, I do portraits a lot because I feel like they're the hardest thing to do, getting people's faces down right. Because I mean, you think about it, we all have 2 eyes and a nose and a mouth and ears, but it's just like the tiniest spacings that can make a person look completely different from another. And so I focused on that, and I got into doing the armor, and honestly got kind of bored of doing it and just wanted to move on to something different. This is one of my more favorite pieces. It's that part where Jack is she ends up handcuffing him to the ship, and he gets eaten by the Kraken. But I specifically remember this moment in my head, and I wanted to look up the reference for this and draw it. And you can see that the black is a lot darker, and you know, in his jewelry and the hat, the eyes, the hair, and it really makes it pop out a lot more and gives a lot of variation, and it really does the drawing a lot of justice. Here I drew Ryu from Death Note, and this was just basically me fooling around with watercolor for the first time. But I think we all used watercolor, you know, when we were kids, kindergarten and all that, but I just kind of wanted to play with the different colors, and you know, I switched up colors, made his hair a different reddish kind of tone, and I was just kind of trying to see how the medium works. And you know, before this I wasn't really used to drawing in color. Everything you saw was just pretty much in black and white. And so again, this is another portrait. This one is of myself though, and you know, I just kind of took a pencil and went in and did a sketch. And you know, I'm focused on proportions in this one. I didn't really, you know, focus too much on getting the light and darks right, and I kind of wanted to play with drawing black hair and, you know, trying to get it right. This is a Madara, but it's not that great of a photo, drawing I should say, because the markers that I used were pretty cheap, and you know, it really shows where you know, I went over it for the second time. It kind of, you can see it smudges and it's dark and really ugly looking. This is a Viking drawing from the Vikings, of the show Vikings, I should say. And again, this is also watercolor, and I was just trying to, you know, play with watercolor again and try to just learn how to manipulate it. And I'd say my favorite part of this picture is right here, this area with the light pinks and the grays, and I feel like it really came out well. But the rest of it was just very difficult. It was something new to me, but everything is trial and error. So, you know, nobody's a whiz when they first pick up a new medium. Another model drawing of his Susano, and this was done with, you know, pretty cheap color pencils, regular Crayola color pencils. Did the sketch, sketched the outline out, kind of drew Madara right here, and then, you know, I just like the composition of the photo. That's why I ended up doing it. So, something different. I know I'm kind of going through these fast, but I have a lot of drawings that I did, so I kind of want to go through all of them. This was done in September 2015, and this was of Thor. Again, you know, I pretty much just used number 2 lead pencils. And this one I was really focused on the details, so I sketched it out, then I went in, did all the details, and then I went in with the shadings. And right here you see the little dots. That's of a mechanical eraser, electric eraser that I used to get the colors right here. And I added lines to the lightning here, and I kind of don't know why. You're better off just, I would have been better off just whiting it out to adding white lines, and it would have gave the same effect, if not better. And again, you know, really focusing on portraits. Even now I'm still working on portraits. I really fell off, but you know, just trying to get the proportions right. And growing up, stuff that really influenced me was anime, and so you can kind of see, I not on purpose, I did anime eyes. It looks like, you know, his eyes are kind of big, and that's just from growing up drawing Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon and all that stuff. But this was done in September as well of 2015. This is just a regular quick little sketch I did of my brother, my cousin, and me, and I just kind of just like the layout of this. His hands right here is like a snapshot kind of pose. He's taking a selfie, and you know, we just happened to be in the background. And I thought it looked pretty cool, so I ended up doing that. This next one is of the legend Bruce Lee, and I used a Q-tip again with this one, regular lead pencil, number 2 lead pencil, and you can see here, you know, I did the darks really dark where they needed to be, added the shadows, the dark. His hair is really dark, his eyes, and it really makes the photo pop. And again, I used the mechanical lead pencil, add little white beads of sweat dripping down his skin, and it gives it a really cool look. So I was really happy with how this turned out. And again, this was in 2015, so this was about 3 years ago. Masande. I'm a big Game of Thrones fan, so of course I had to draw Masande. This is when she was, before she joined Apollodor, and she's being a translator for the slave master. And I kind of really like the whiteout in her eyes. I didn't add any color to her eyes. I just kind of left it, and it gives her that real look of despair, that almost hopelessness. Because she's a slave, so life's not too great. But I was really also just focused on just doing portraits of real people and making them look like how they look in real life, so you could just look at it and I wouldn't have to tell you who it is, you'd know. This one's of James Harden. So I drew different characters, different people, celebrities. Just try to keep it fresh, switch it up. And this was done in December 1st of 2015 as well. And the beard. His eyes are kind of big, and again, that's my fault. Just so used to drawing anime that I kind of make eyes a lot bigger than they should be. But overall, it turned out pretty well. I liked it. Regular number 2 lead pencil. That's all I did was use lead pencil. The Black Mamba, there goes that man, Kobe Bean Bryant. Here I just switch it up a little bit, different kind of style. I used the lines to show the lights and the darks and the changes and the shadows of just something different. You gotta switch it up every now and then, keep it fresh. December 9th, 2015, Kobe Bean Bryant. This one's a Buddha and a bald head kid that kind of looks like Aang from the Avatar. But I always think of that old guy from Hunter x Hunter when he was facing the Ant King, and he had that thing with like 1,000 arms, and you always have that Buddha in the background with 1,000 arms. I don't know, it's kind of just okay. Moving on. Never mind. Iron Mike Tyson before the tattoo. But again, me just really wanted to do portraits and different celebrities. Here I kind of just tried to pay attention to detail, especially with the gloves and the lining, and it's not really bad how this came out. I was really happy with how this looked when I was finished with it. And I see it, I do a lot better job with the eyes, keeping them the size that they should be, using the shadow right here to accentuate the brow. His hair is darker, a lot of variation in the lights and the darks, and yeah, overall it turned out pretty well. I was pretty happy with this one. There's another one of me just playing around with watercolor. The Joker. Why so serious? This was really just water. All right here, this was just, I had water, I had paint, and then I just took a brush filled with water and wiped down, and so it kind of gives it that smudgy kind of look, like he's dripping. See, added water droplets and just added a little bit of paint in it. Just messing around with watercolor again. So I believe this is 2016, October 27, 2016 that I did this. And it's just a completely different level, than the previous drawings. This is when I first started using Prismacolor pencils, and there was like 6 or 7 different grades that I used for this, and it's just on a completely different stratosphere than the other previous drawings. When I finally took it to color pencil and, you know, really focus on getting that detailed sketch down, laying and just paying really close attention to the details. And this is when I really just started drawing in color, and it just, I mean, yeah, it looks a lot better than my previous drawing. It was done in 2016 too, so, you know, time had gone by and I had progressed. But Colossus from Deadpool, big fan of Deadpool, anything Marvel really. And you know, this is my first time kind of messing with drawing metal as far as in color, and I really struggled. I didn't know how to do it. Here I was just, you know, I didn't know how to blend or layer or add colors. This was around the first time that I really started to use marker and layer on top of it with color pencil. This is when I first started doing that and kind of learning how to manipulate those two mediums together. And overall, I think it came out pretty well. So, you know, just the learning process. Everything's a learning process. And this is a drawing of Hulk versus Hulkbuster, and again, this was one of my first drawings where I did marker and then as a backdrop, and then I don't think backdrop, but as the first layer, and then color pencil on top of it. And just, it was really difficult for me because I wasn't used to doing it. So I'd look at the videos where people would actually draw this. The YouTuber's name, I think his name is Drawholic. So I looked at where they draw it, and I'd look at the process and how they did it, and I kind of break it down, and I follow the same steps that they did to get to the same conclusion. And of course the colors weren't exactly the same, but they're very similar, and it was just a lot of learning. And it, you know, ultimately took my drawing to the next level, because this was around the first time that I actually started using color and working with it. And, you know, by the time I had finished and I got to, you know, finish doing this, this was just something I was completely not used to doing. And I was really happy with the results, and I was, you know, finding more confidence in my skills, in my artwork. But yep, my old drawings, my old sketchbook. Hope you guys liked it. Something different, you know, I wanted to switch it up a bit. So something different from the regular speed drawings, because they get kind of boring, I guess. But I hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. Deuces.